For Comedy Hype News, I'm John Alba. Earlier this week, we reported several people had a problem with Stephen A. Smith's opinion on Will Smith in Bad Boys 4. If you remember, Stephen A. would tell his followers that he has more interest in seeing Will participate in a sit-down one-on-one interview to explain why he slapped Chris Rock at the 2022 Oscar ceremony than seeing any Will Smith movie at the moment. During his commentary on the Stephen A. Smith Show, the host would specifically state that Will owes the black community an explanation for what he did. Well, that opinion wasn't received well by the masses, and many would disagree with Stephen A.'s stance on the issue. The backlash even led to Stephen A. slightly backtracking after a conversation with Will Smith's friend, Charlie Mack. After hearing Mack, Stephen A. stated he was going to stand down. Many individuals and peers of Stephen A. Smith would defiantly disagree with what the ESPN host had to say. Now, D.L. Hughley was one public figure who couldn't help but let Stephen A. know he was in the wrong. On Wednesday, Hughley would take a slight jab by reposting a video of Stephen A. Smith talking about Will Smith with the caption simply reading, "Yikes."
I'm not surprised at all that pre-sales have simmered. Would it surprise me at all if it ultimately plummeted once all is said and done? I'm not nearly as interested in seeing Will Smith in the movies than I am of seeing him doing an actual sit-down interview with somebody to explain.
Cut.
Why is he stopping?
That was terrific. That was terrific. Why'd you stop? What happened?
I have another very good idea.
Yeah.
Could you tell him to be a little more, you know?
I need a little more black. You know what I'm saying? Like, stick your ass out, bug the eyes. You know how they move, you know?
Hughley's video would end with a brief clip from the 1987 film Hollywood Shuffle. The scene depicts a few white casting directors who tell an auditioning black actor he's not black enough and asking him to be more black. One can assume Hughley's post refers to Stephen A. not speaking for the black community. Now, one user on social media would comment on Hughley's post to critique Stephen A. Smith. They wrote, "Talking like he's the voice of the culture. You're not." One more social media user would add their own commentary by writing, "I'm so tired of people making noise just to keep their job. Please be quiet and let Will move on. He literally owes you nothing, bro. Also, movie opened at like 100 million worldwide, so lots of people want to see him in the movies." Another social media user would say, "This dude keeps speaking for all black folks and keeps getting calls that correct him, but he keeps getting views for his craziness, so he keeps going." While one more wrote, "We're not interested in hearing your thoughts on Will Smith in the movies. However, we are interested in hearing you do a sit down with Kyrie and hearing your apology to him for disparaging his character." Now, this isn't the first time Hughley has publicly criticized Stephen A. Smith for having a bad opinion. Back in April, when Hughley appeared on Big Boy TV, he would address when Stephen A. Smith said Donald Trump can relate to the black community because of his recent trial. Of course, Stephen A. would receive backlash for this comment as well, and would apologize days later while saying his words were misconstrued. Hughley, however, didn't buy that his words were taken out of context.
Stephen A. Smith, first off, I think Stephen says, what insults me is when you say something and pretend like you didn't say it. We heard what you said, then you said, they taking me out of context. Play the tape, show me what it is that you said that was different than I perceived you saying. Right. You said that black people relate to Donald Trump. How? If I know a black dude who in his 70s, close to 80s, is still committing crime, I'm not hanging out with that nigga. Once you got convicted of raping somebody, I can't fuck with you. I don't care who you are. When you committed fraud, I can't mess with you. It says more about what this dude thinks is, because when you make those kind of broad statements, what you're saying is, from my vantage point, these people think this. Who are you hanging around that thinks an old fraudulent rapist is relatable to you? Who is in your sphere that you think that's okay? Don't be a pussy and tell me you didn't say it, you did.
It looks like the back and forth between Smith and Hughley continues on no sign of things slowing down, as both men seem to have a huge difference of opinion. So what do you guys think of D.L. Hughley's post roasting Stephen A. Smith using a scene from Hollywood Shuffle? And do you think Stephen A. Smith now needs to give out a formal apology? Plus, stay up to date for the latest news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. And check out hypersclub.com for more original content. Plus, if you enjoy this story, go ahead and send us a super thanks by hitting the button below. And you can tip us what you want to show your support. For Comedy Hype News, I'm John Alba.